Our story begins in a garden, Eden, a place of perfect harmony and abundance. Here, humanity's relationship with the natural world was first established. God created a world rich with plants, not just for beauty, but for sustenance. In Genesis, God says, "I give you every seed-bearing plant and every tree with fruit for food." This was the first instruction on how to interact with the botanical world, a divine invitation to explore and benefit from creation. The soil itself was blessed with potential, linking human well-being to the plant kingdom. Before apothecaries or laboratories, there was the earth itself. Leaves, roots and seeds as original resources for life. Herbal medicine wasn't invented but discovered, its properties already placed within the world. Humanity was meant to live in close relationship with creation, learning its secrets and respecting its power. Imagine Adam, the first botanist, walking through this landscape, learning to identify and use plants. This act of naming and understanding was the beginning of herbal knowledge. The garden was not just a source of food, but a place of holistic health and divine provision. Even after leaving Eden, the memory and knowledge of the earth's bounty endured. The world outside was more challenging, but plants still held their healing potential. The principle remained. God had provided for his creation. The search for healing herbs is a quest to rediscover the wisdom of that first garden. It's a journey back to seeing nature as a gift, to be used with wisdom and gratitude. This is the foundation of the entire tradition of herbal medicine. The Bible isn't a medical textbook, but it's filled with glimpses of medicinal plants. The balm of Gilead, a famous resin, was a symbol of comfort and healing. Hyssop was used in purification rituals. David prayed, "Cleanse me with hyssop and I will be clean." When King Hezekiah was ill, Isaiah prescribed a poultice of figs and he recovered. These stories show faith and practical herbal knowledge working hand in hand. Jesus' parables are rich with botanical imagery. The mustard seed, the lilies, the vines, drawing on everyday plant knowledge. Even the gifts to the infant Jesus, frankincense and myrrh, were powerful medicinal resins used for healing and preservation. These scriptural threads reveal a faith rooted in the earth, seeing God's hand in the healing power of plants. The Bible's references to plants remind us that spiritual and physical healing are deeply connected. The people of the Bible lived closely with the land, understanding its rhythms and resources. Their faith was expressed not just in prayer, but in the wise use of God's creation. The healing plants of Scripture are reminders of God's ongoing provision. This connection between faith and nature continues to inspire today. The knowledge of healing plants flowed across cultures and empires. The Egyptians mastered herbal medicine, recording hundreds of remedies in texts like the Ebers Papyrus. For them, medicine blended science and spiritual ritual. This wisdom influenced the Greeks, where Hippocrates championed a rational, systematic approach to herbs. Plants were classified by their properties, laying the groundwork for Western medicine. Dioscorides de Materia Medica became the herbal reference for over 1,500 years. The Romans spread this knowledge across their empire, establishing medicinal gardens and adopting new herbs. Roman army surgeons were skilled herbalists, treating wounds far from home. This exchange enriched Europe's herbal traditions, blending Mediterranean wisdom with local lore. Across cultures, people turned to the green world for healing, creating a shared human experience. Ancient civilizations observed, catalogued, and preserved the gifts of nature. Their legacy became the bedrock of medical practice for centuries. This wisdom would prove vital during the turbulent centuries that followed. As the Roman Empire fell, monasteries became sanctuaries of knowledge and healing. Monks preserved ancient texts and cultivated physic gardens, rows of herbs for medicine. Lavender, sage and comfrey were grown for their healing properties. The scriptorium and the garden worked together, preserving knowledge and healing the sick. Monastic life was a rhythm of prayer and work. Tending the garden was prayer in action. Monks believed God imprinted signs on plants to indicate their uses, the doctrine of signatures. Monastery infirmaries became the primary source of medical care for communities. The monks' care was freely given, seen as Christian duty. They bridged ancient wisdom and practical service, keeping herbal medicine alive. Their gardens and manuscripts ensured this knowledge survived the Dark Ages. Monks were not just healers, but stewards of a sacred trust. Their legacy shaped the future of medicine in Europe. The Reformation disrupted traditional centres of medical knowledge, but sparked a new era for herbalism. Protestant reformers promoted literacy and translated herbals into common languages. Knowledge became accessible to ordinary people, housewives, farmers, and village healers. This democratization empowered individuals to care for their own health as stewardship. New herbalists emerged, blending scientific curiosity with faith. They saw God revealed in both scripture and nature, studying plants as acts of worship. Great herbals by William Turner and Leonhard Fuchs corrected errors and added new knowledge. This era laid a new foundation for botany and medicine, rooted in faith and observation. The history of herbalism shines through the lives of faithful individuals. Nicholas Culpeper, a 17th century botanist, believed God's remedies were for everyone. He translated medical texts into English, making knowledge accessible to the poor. His Culpeper's Herbal offered practical advice, empowering people to use local plants. John Wesley, founder of Methodism, cared deeply for the physical well-being of his followers. He compiled Primitive Physic, filled with simple, affordable herbal remedies. Wesley saw health as essential to spiritual life, integrating faith and practical care. Both men saw their work as Christian duty, making healing accessible to all. Their legacy is a blend of faith, compassion, and respect for God's creation. They were true stewards of a sacred trust. At the heart of Christian herbal medicine is the belief that plants are a gift from a loving Creator. Genesis shows a God who provides for all living things: sun, rain, food, and medicine. Using herbs becomes an act of gratitude, connecting us to the giver. Healing is received as a gift, fostering humility and dependence on God. This view encourages responsible stewardship, using plants respectfully and protecting their habitats. Christian herbalists are caretakers, passing on knowledge to future generations. Seeing herbs as God's provision integrates faith and daily life. Preparing remedies or tending a garden becomes an act of prayer. God is interested in every aspect of our lives, including our health. He invites us to discover and use His gifts with thankful hearts. In our world of advanced medicine, many Christians are rediscovering herbal traditions. Faith and natural remedies are seen as complementary, not conflicting. Using herbs connects believers to God's creation and encourages a mindful approach to health. Planting a garden or making a remedy is a practical way to engage with nature's beauty and utility. Christians are called to approach herbalism with wisdom, seeking reliable information and integrating the best of ancient and modern medicine according to scripture and evidence-based science. The goal is holistic health, spirit, mind, and body. This is a return to our roots, reclaiming a rich tradition. It's about stewardship, gratitude, and honoring the Creator in all aspects of life. The wisdom of the past meets the needs of the present in a faith-filled approach to well-being. Our journey spans Eden to the modern kitchen, tracing the golden thread of herbal wisdom. Prophets, philosophers, monks, and reformers have all cherished and preserved this legacy. Each plant is a small miracle, an invitation to wonder and gratitude. The Christian tradition sees herbs as expressions of divine care, not mere commodities. Gratitude for the earth's healing power becomes a form of worship. This gratitude leads to stewardship, protecting and using resources wisely. Stewardship is how we say thank you for God's gifts. Let us approach natural remedies with inquisitive minds and discerning hearts. Embrace healing from God's nature as a complement to faith and modern medicine. In every leaf and flower, we find a whisper of the Creator's love. This documentary was brought to you by the Christian Natural Health Network. Visit us at cnhnetwork.com for more information about Christian herbalist education and certification.